Everybody, welcome to Garden Time with Belle. Do you hate having to hand water your potted plants as much as I do? If you're like me, I have a solution for you. Here we are in my mid-May Missouri garden. I am in a zone 6. It is another glorious May day here in central Missouri. And today I'm super excited to show you how I'm going to pot up my self-watering aqua pot containers. These two here right in front of the greenhouse, and that one right there that's going to go over on our back patio. So before I show you all sort of how to put together one of these aqua pots, these self-watering pots that for me have been a game changer in my mid-Missouri garden, I'm going to ask everybody to please like and subscribe to my channel. If you're enjoying my videos or if you're new to my channel, I invite you to subscribe so that I can continue to create more content and bring some of my gardening adventures to the rest of you. So thank you for your support. What I thought we'd start with first is me showing you how to assemble your aqua pot. Before I do that, you're going to notice these here in front of the greenhouse, they already have soil in them because I had pansies and these daffodils in them for spring. I will be pulling the daffs out and planting them somewhere else in the landscape so that they'll winter over here, and we'll have next spring some beautiful daffodils to add to my other ones. But this one is empty, and I did that on purpose because this one's going to go on the back patio, as I mentioned. I want to show you what you get with these aqua pots. Just a little FYI, aqua pots are under the Proven Winners brand, that company. But actually they were designed by Jack Barnwell. And if you don't know who Jack Barnwell is, you need to follow him on Instagram and YouTube. He's an amazing landscape artist and landscape installer. He has companies in Naples, Florida, and up in Mackinac Island. His landscapes are dreamy, like such an inspiration. So you need to check out Jack Barnwell and his social media sites. Okay, so let me show you what you get. Now, I ordered the Aqua Pot Light series. Now, these aren't super light. These are really big pots here, but they are lighter than the original aqua pots. The original aqua pots are ceramic, absolutely spectacular. I mean, just the most gorgeous pots. I wanted Aqua Pot Lights, the new version that they came out with, I don't know, probably 3-4 years ago, because they're easier for me to handle. And quite frankly, they're about half the price of the gorgeous glazed ceramics. And I just wanted something super simple. I happen to like light colored pots. You notice in my greenhouse, those of you who have followed me, you see all of my terracotta pots in there. I've whitewashed because I love the way that plants, flowers, foliage looks against something lighter colored. I just think that makes it pop. So anyhow, that's why I chose this particular variety, but they have all kinds of different pots on their website. So I'll make sure I let you know how to find them. Okay, so you've got this pot. They come in all different sizes. Oh my goodness, I should have measured this. I'm terrible at, I'd say this is at least 18 inches, probably 20 inches. It's a big one, and that's good. I need big pots for impact, but also it's quite windy where we live in the summertime. And the bigger the pot, the more soil, the heavier it is, and it is not going to tip over in our harsh winds. So that's one of my thoughts on getting these big pots. All right, let's get to it. So this is the insert. Whoops. So this is the vessel that holds 3 gallons of water, and I'm going to place it down right in the bottom of this pot, and this device fits on top. So you don't fill it with water before you're going to put it in. You'll see me. I'll show you, the whole process. But you put this down inside your pot, and this came with the pot. However, they are now selling just the insert. So if you have big, beautiful pots on your property, ceramic or terracotta or whatever, you can actually just buy the inserts and turn your original pots into self-watering pots, which I think is brilliant. I am sure that gardeners all over, just like you, wrote to Proven Winners or sent them a message and said, hey, we just need the insert so we can make use of our original pot. So anyhow, so you take this, You fit it down in the bottom, and then this is a telescoping tube that you pull up here. Let me see. I want to make sure. It's a little bit stuck right now. I'm not sure why. Okay, there, perfect. So it can go up or down depending upon how deep your pots are. And this is actually the fill tube. This is where you're going to put your water in. You're going to take your hose, and you'll see me do this later when I water everything in. You just take your hose and you just hold it right here into this little daisy hole here, and the water will run down the tube into that 3-gallon reservoir. And that's how you fill it up. So it could not be easier. I'm going to bring the camera in and get really close into here, because there's one thing that you must do when you fill your aqua pots with soil to make sure that the water that's in that reservoir is wicking up into your soil and feeding the roots of your plant. All right, here's the close-up spot. I'm going to go way down in here, and I want you to see what's really critical here, and that is, do you see this indentation? You want to make sure that you fill this, you pack it with soil when you fill up. So you'll see me pouring the soil in here and packing it down, because do you see all those holes? Those holes are resting down in that water reservoir. It's going to make this potting soil really moist, and also then it will wick up throughout your container, and it will hydrate and water the rest of your soil. So that is a critical piece when you get ready to fill up your pots. So enough talk about how you put together the aqua pot. We need to get them filled and planted, and I am super, super excited to show you what's going to go in these 3 aqua pots. I'm going to plant them identically. So we'll have a pair here, and that third one that I just showed you is going to go on the back patio. And let me show you what I am going to get to pot up today. Okay, those of you that follow my videos, I'm sure you're getting so sick and tired of me talking about these beautiful bullseye, Maverick bullseye geraniums that I started from seed on January 1st. Here it is mid-May, and they're finally getting to go out in the landscape. They've been in my greenhouse. I've been giving them lots of TLC, and these beauties, you can see some buds are already starting to form, are the salmon color. And salmon, I'll put a picture of it on the screen. They are going to be a beautiful kind of a pinky salmon. So that's going to go in, and actually I'm going to put 4 of them around the edge of the containers. These particular geraniums that I grew from seed, they're already getting rather large. They get about 14 to 16 inches tall and wide. So I want to kind of pack them in, and I grew 44 of them this year. So I have plenty. I've given a lot to some friends at a recent event. I sent a lot of happy friends home with these beautiful geraniums for their garden. Okay, so that's going to go around the outside. So I'm going to use 4 of them. And then the thriller, what's going to go in the inside, in the very center, would be the Proven Winners Unplugged So Blue Salvia. This is an annual, and these are annuals. And let me give you some specs, and hopefully I'll put a picture of this beautiful blue salvia. They say it's a 20+ award winner. It needs full to part sun. It gets about 24 inches tall. So imagine it'll fill in pretty well. It'll get about this tall, and then the salmon around the blue in the center, the salmony pink on the outside. I think it's going to be a lovely combination. Let's see if there's anything else I need to share with you about this particular plant. I don't think so. I think that's going to do it. So this is going to be an easy and fun job. I think what I'll do is I'll turn the camera and get close. I think I'm going to show you how I'm going to fill up this aqua pot that has no soil in it. I'm going to do that first, put the plants in, and then I will pull out these dafts and get these 2 pots planted up. All right, I've got my insert in there that's going to hold those 3 gallons of water for my beautiful plants, and I'm going to fill it. And so I've got this bucket here. Oh my gosh, it's heavy. This bucket is full of high quality raised bed mix and compost. And I have all of this wonderful soil because we put in some beautiful high birdies raised beds, those 29-inch tall raised beds this year, and installed those in our raised bed garden. And so we have some leftover, which is great. My husband so kindly put them in a bunch of 5-gallon buckets so that I could just grab a bucket rather than have it in a big pile and use it however I needed to. So yeah, takes a lot of soil. Here's the thing. You get lots of different advice from gardeners out there, but let me just tell you that in my really big pots, I keep the same soil in them for a couple of seasons and then I swap it out. Soil is too expensive, in my opinion, in a vessel this size to completely swap it out. Now, I just did a video recently where I filled up some hanging baskets, and they were 14-inch, about like this. Of course, brand new fresh soil for smaller baskets and pots every single year, but something this big, I keep the same soil and then I amend it. So for instance, this year, if you came along when I planted my pansies, I took out the top third and I added a bunch of compost and fresh potting soil to this to kind of refresh it for 2025. So anyhow, that's really just something to think about. And then, so I've got my raised bed mix in there. You saw me packing that soil down into that center part of the vessel so that I can make sure I have good contact. And then I've just got some really good potting soil here. That's going to go in the top, and we'll see if that's going to be enough. In fact, I may, because this is going to settle, I may, I think I'm going to run up to the garage and grab one more bag of potting soil. Because I like to fill up my pots about an inch or so below the lip, and so I want my soil to be a little bit taller. So yeah, let me take a pause here. Let me run and get another bag of potting soil. I mean, you can never have enough potting soil, right? Let me go get another bag. Hey, oh, found some more potting soil. Thank goodness. I ordered lots this year. This is Espoma's organic potting mix, all purpose. And so let me open up this bag and I am going to pour it in my little tub. For me, I have an easier time working with potting soil out of tubs with my big scooper than me manhandling. This is a giant bag. I don't know. This is 57 pounds. I'd rather scoop it out than lift this bag. So let me see if I can put this in here. Yeah. And one big, huge bag fits just perfectly in that Rubbermaid tub. All right, so let me just scoop some out. And continue to fill this up a little bit more. So you see how I've got the fill hose, the nozzle. You want to make sure that little telescoping nozzle, you have it up high enough so that it's easy to find when you're ready to water. I mean, you could push it down a little bit closer to the soil, but it's going to get covered up by these gorgeous plants. All right, so as I said, the unplugged So Blue salvia is going to go in the center. So we'll start with that. And you hear me say this all the time, but when you are planting, you want to make sure you've watered your plants that have been in pots. the day before or the morning of, because you don't want to put a really dry plant into the hole. But before I stick it in there, here's what I'm going to do. You see me use biotone starter fertilizer in loads of things that I plant, but when it comes to summer annuals, this is what I am going to do. I'm going to put in each hole, or I could just scatter it around the top. I'm going to use the Proven Winners Premium Continuous Release Plant Food. This is going to get me, I don't know, it says feeds up to 6 months. But when you're watering your pots, of course, you don't have to water these that often. I don't know that it's going to give me 6 months worth of food, but anyhow, that's what it says. So that's slow release fertilizer. When the heat hits it, we're going to have some warm days. In fact, tomorrow I think it's going to be like 87 degrees. When it really starts to heat up the soil, that's when it activates. However, Fertilizer Friday is the day of the week that I give water-soluble fertilizer to all of my flowering annuals. It is just part of my routine for watering on Fridays. And again, just for annuals that pump out lots of blooms all summer long, I give them a dose once a week and makes a huge difference. All right, so I've got it there in the hole. Oh, what'd I do? Where are you? I put you right here. I can't lose my beautiful salvia. We'll just nestle that in just like so. All right. All right, so now it's time for my geraniums. So I think I'm going to do 4. As I said, this is a 20-inch pot, and each geranium gets 14 to 16 inches high and about 14 inches wide. So they will completely fill this in. Now, there's a little salvia in the middle, but give him time and he will grow up and be beautiful against these geraniums. So yeah, so I'm just going to make 4 holes for the geraniums, equally spaced. Put in some of that slow release fertilizer. And this pot will go on my back porch, and I'll water it in, and I'll show you how to fill the reservoir. So you're going to fill the reservoir, and then you also should always water in your plants, even on self-watering containers. When you first plant them out, make sure you give them a good drink. All right, that's all there is to it. Let's see what the roots look like on these. Pretty nice. So I'm just going to repeat that process 2 more times, but what you will see me do is I'm going to lift out these daffodils, put them in one of my little tub drugs, and later today I will make sure I get them somewhere else in the landscape with some of my other daffs so that I'll have them for next year. Nothing goes to waste in my garden. All that's left for me to do is to water in these beautiful geraniums and salvia for my aqua pots. I will be filling up that reservoir by using my hose. I'm going to fill up where that little daisy is. That telescoping tube holds about 3 gallons, as I mentioned. And then I do need to saturate the soil. This is fresh potting soil and raised bed mix, and it's very dry. So I want to make sure all of the soil is saturated. And it's been my experience in my climate where I live. I have to water these when it's not very warm. I have to fill up the reservoir maybe about every couple of weeks. In the heat of the summer, when it's like in the 90s here where I live, I probably fill up the reservoir once a week, but you just need to do the finger test. That's what I do. Wind, heat, humidity, natural rain all impacts when you should be watering your plants, and it's just best to stick your finger in that soil, and if it is dry down a couple of inches, that's your clue that they're going to need some water. So I really appreciate you all hanging out with me today. You know, I'll bring you back for updates to see what these look like in a few weeks as those geraniums open up and start to bloom, and that salvia that's hidden right now in the center starts to put on some growth. I just think the pairing of a soft pinky salmon against that blue is going to be so pretty. So until next time, I wish you all happy gardening.